For men swear by one greater than themselves, and with them an oath given as confirmation is an end of every dispute. In the same way, God, desiring to even more show to the heirs of the promise the unchangeableness of his purpose, interposed with an oath, so that by two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie, we who have taken refuge would have strong encouragement to take hold of the hope set before us. This hope we have as an anchor of the soul, a hope both sure and steadfast, and one which enters within the veil, where Jesus has entered as a forerunner for us, having become a high priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. I don't believe that any of us as Christians understand how serious it is to swear an oath to God. It's one thing to make a promise to someone, and based on circumstances, you can fulfill, or maybe you can't fulfill that promise. But when you swear an oath, you bring God into that promise. I'm sure you're aware of that tragic story of Jephthah in Judges chapter 11. Jephthah swore to God that if God would give him victory, he would offer to God as a burnt offering the first thing that came out of his door when he came home. Back then, the ancient Hebrews, the animals, the livestock were underneath and the people lived above. But when Jephthah came back victorious from battle, out of the front door with a tambourine banging and singing, his only daughter, his only child came out the door. Jephthah, heartbroken, weeping, and crying, told his daughter what he had swore. And his daughter, knowing the grave importance of an oath to God, agreed. He gave her 2 months, and she went up to the hills to mourn her virginity, that she had no child. And then when she came back, he offered her as a burnt offering to God. Or again, the story of Herod, who begged his wife's daughter to dance for him and frivolously made a sworn oath to give her anything she wanted. And her mother and her conspired, and she asked for the head of John the Baptist. And he did it. Swearing an oath is a serious thing. In fact, in our text, it says to us that when men swear an oath, it's a confirmation and it's an end of every dispute. If I swear an oath to you, that means that I am going to fulfill my obligation, my promise to you. He says they swear by someone greater than themselves. In the days of Jesus, if a slave swore an oath, he would swear it sometimes by his master, so that if he could not fulfill it, his master would be obligated to fulfill it. But God says, who can I find that's higher than me? And so in the previous text, he says, when I wanted to make Abraham sure that I would bless him, when I wanted to make him know that I would bless him, since I couldn't swear by anyone higher than myself, I swore by myself, Abraham, I will bless you and multiply you. Then it says, in the same way, God wanting to show us the unchangeableness of his desire for us who are the heirs of the promise, that is, the children of Abraham through Jesus Christ our Lord. He wanted to show us so that our hope could be stronger. How much he wants us into heaven with him. he swore by two unchangeable things. What are those unchangeable things? If I want to get something from someone, I need two things. I need the desire to help me, and I need the ability. Let's suppose that I had a daughter who needed an operation, and the operation was $100,000. And I go to my best friend, Rick, and I say, Rick, my daughter needs an operation, and I need $100,000. And Rick pulls out his handkerchief, and he cries, and he says, oh, I'm so sorry. I want to help you so much, but I don't have any money. You see, Rick has the desire to help me, but he doesn't have the means to help me. But let's say that I go and I somehow get in front of Donald Trump. And I tell Donald Trump my daughter needs an operation and it costs $100,000. And he looks at me and he says, who are you? I don't know you. Get out of here. He has the means to help me, but he doesn't have the desire. Well, God wanted to show us so that we could have a true and great hope, the unchangeableness of his will. He swears to us, number one, I want you in heaven with me. And number two, I swear by my own integrity that I will give you the means to get there. I will give you a priest, a high priest, not like one from the Old Testament, but one from the law, but one that is sworn in by an oath. One who took his own precious blood, his sinless blood. In the book of Acts, it calls it the blood of God. And he takes that blood not into an earthly tent or building, but he takes it directly into heaven to the mercy seat of God as payment for all sin. And he sits down on the throne of God. God not only wants us in heaven, he's provided every means to get us there. A high priest who that we can call on, that we can know stands before God and says, count the cross, Father, every time we sin. Count it again, count it again. And it says, therefore, we can have a strong hope. A hope that is sure and steadfast, that enters within the veil, where Jesus is a forerunner. We are already on the coattails of our Lord as he's gone ahead and he has taken our hope and he is as an anchor and he has plunged it into the throne of God. And he's given us the rope to hold on to here. And sometimes we have to tie a knot in that rope because things get pretty tough. But as long as we hold on, when the storm clears, when the fog is lifted, we'll be where Jesus is. If this podcast has been of an encouragement to you, please go to johndkimbrough.com and you can hear more. Also, if you have any questions, you can go there and email me. Thank you.